Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great privilege to present one of the country's finest classical pianists. Barnsley's answer to Andre Previn. Mr. Les Dawson.
Thank you, Vera. Instead of my usual composition on a symphonic vein, I should like to play Songs of Yesteryear. If you feel like joining in, do so, but it's third-party fire and risk. I told you to stay in the truck.
Your fan club just arrived. They parked the tandem.
That's what I love about your show. You're a laugh an hour, Shirley.
That's one more than you, pal.
You know, if you play your cards right, I could get your job on Crossroads. As a cleaner. I can be hurt, Shirley. After all, I'm just a man.
Yes, you are. Just. No, but, I mean, you seem a bit down in the mouth. I mean, what's the trouble? No.
Well, I'm glad you noticed that I'm not my usually ebullient self. I never slept a wink last night, Shirley. I kept getting this hideous recurrent nightmare that the mother-in-law was chasing me with a crocodile on a lead down the banks of the Nile. I was wearing nothing but a pith helmet and Gannick spats. I could smell the hot, rancid breath on the back of my neck. I could hear those great jaws snapping in anger. I could almost see those great yellow eyes full of primeval hatred devouring me.
Oh, how terrible.
That's nothing. What shall I tell you about the crocodile? I couldn't take much more. I went to see the doctor. I walked into his surgery. I said, "Can you help me out?" He said, "Yes, miss. Where did you come in?" I said, "What's good for wind? Give me a kite." You see, the trouble is, he's very old-fashioned. When he gives you an injection, you have to bite on a bullet. He's retiring shortly. He's run out of leeches. If you don't mind me saying so, Shirley, I'm so envious of you in so many ways. Your success has reached its absolute apex. Do you know that my career's going downhill faster than a rabbit that's just had a promise? Nothing's gone right for me. I'm so unlucky. I bought some bananas last week and when I peeled them, they were empty. Do you know, I invested a lot of money last year in a company that made cotton floral bonnets, and now the government's cancelled Easter. I'm so far behind with the rent, the arrears are ticked off in the doomsday book. My furniture's been thrown on the street so often I've had the loose covers made to match the pavements. If that wasn't bad enough, after 15 years of complete bliss, the wife ran away with the fella next door. Oh, and I do miss him. Do you know, I've reached the stage, Shirley, but I can't concentrate on anything. I can't even look at the contract for this show. It brings tears to my eyes. I can't concentrate. I just sit there and I just daydream all the time that I'm playing cricket for England in Australia.
Have you tried thinking about girls?
What, miss me turn to bat? It's funny how you try to regain your grassroots. You know, you came from Cardiff when you worked on the docks. And you also... you try to refine those vital years. Where did you go wrong? I went to see my parents the other week. It was the neighbourhood I used to play as a kid. Grimy warehouses, severing the skyline with dissipated profiles. Narrow, suck-bearded tenements gazing eyeless onto litter-pitted streets. Nuns going round in twos, mugging everybody. And I thought to myself, by God, Weybridge has changed. And through a vandalised glass-stained window of this ill-kempt chapel, I saw my father kneeling at the altar. Can you imagine my emotions? More mixed than old bran. And he looked so forlorn. He was just knelt there. He was recrumbing his begging bowl. He had his hand in the vicar's pocket. Right. I put my arm round. I put my arm round his shoulder, his thinning shoulders. And he looked at me and he took a swig from his hip flask. And I said, hello, Daddy. And he looked at me, his eyes just filled with tears. Emotion was choking him. This one decent soup, the only one he ever had without arrows. And when he spoke, it was like an echo from the past. I remembered so well that soft northern voice. He said, hello, son! I said, what are you doing here of all places? He was never a religious man, you know. He was an atheist for years, but he was getting no holidays. I said...
Oh, I must cheer up.
And I said to him, why are you knelt here? I said, where's Mummy? And he looked at me and said, and he pointed heavenwards with a soiled digit. He said, your mother's up there! I said, you mean that Mummy's passed over? And he said, no, she's on the roof knocking the lead off. Tell me, Shirley, what number are you going to sing?
Well, Yellowbird.